desperately needed.
I call the member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And Deputy Speaker, dearie me, it's Thursday afternoon and we know what it's like. At the end of a sitting period, 2 weeks, and what you have is the call that goes out from the whip's office or the opposition leader saying, can somebody come up with a topic of a subject that this opposition can talk about that's a matter of public interest? They scratch around, looking under every surface, speaking to every shadow minister that's visionless with any possible policy. They turn around to the shadow minister that has to deal with housing and say, Deputy Speaker, could we do a matter of public importance on housing? And then someone says, actually, we can't do that because we're actually proposing a policy that would lead to 42,000 fewer homes being built and housing becoming shortfall. Then they scratch around and they say, what about if we take concern for senior Australians? And then they go, oh no, actually we've got another problem. We're going around and raiding people's full tax refunds. And so they can't do that. So eventually they get to the member for Ballarat, our favourite shadow minister. The shadow minister for health. She says, I know I've got a brilliant idea. Let's do a motion. Hang on, what is it? A matter of public importance that this government's 5-year record on Medicare. And they think it's genius because they start by saying we should be afraid of the campaign they ran at the last election. We all know that at the last election the opposition lied. They lied big time. The opposition lied. And what we
The member for Wakefield on a point of order.
Speaker, Deputy Speaker, the member for Goldstein used an unparliamentary term, and I'd ask him to withdraw it.
Yeah, I concur. I asked the member for Goldstein to withdraw.
Mr Deputy Speaker.
Member for North.
Member for Goldstein was not referring to any individual member of parliament. He was referring to an organisation, and I don't think it's unparliamentary to use that language, except unless it's specifically directed against one of our parliamentary colleagues.
I take the member for North Sydney's point, but I ask the member for Goldstein to withdraw.
I shall withdraw and say that the opposition perpetuated mistruths, misinformation to mislead the Australian people, if that would be a satisfactory answer. And that is at the heart of everything they're doing in this motion and everywhere else. We know the record over the past 5 years of this government. The record is quite clear. We have record rates of Medicare billing, bulk billing. More Australians are accessing bulk billing than ever before. So if that's a record of failure, I'd hate to see what their record of success is. What this opposition has done is misled the Australian people at every point. We know there is more federal funding for public hospitals under this government, from $13.3 billion to $22.7 billion nationwide. We know that the GP bulk billing rate is up 86.1% from 82.2% in Labor's last year in government. Apparently that was a success that they're prepared to own. But when you increase it and deliver more for the Australian people, they somehow declare it a failure. They have the most appalling metrics. But of course, as the previous speaker mentioned, and I know within his heart he means well. Unfortunately, he has to sit on the other side of this parliament and parrot the lines that are given to him by the member for Ballarat. He has to repeat the narrative, even if it is baseless, but he can't. I know within his heart he wrestles with the fact that under this government there have been 1,900 medicines, which equate to one new medicine every day on the PBS, because I know in his heart he actually does care. But it isn't just the issue around 1,900.
Member for Goldstein, continue.
But what we know is that it isn't just about the past, it's also about the future. Watch the comedy that rolls out in front of us. We have 30 new MRI licences to support
the member for MacArthur on a point of order.
Point of order, Mr Deputy Speaker. I was not given any lines. The lines were all my own work. So the point of order on the truth.
The member will resume his seat. I call the member for Goldstein.
What this government is also doing is issuing new MRI licences so that people in communities can get the support and assistance that they need, benefiting more than 400,000 patients. And I'd like to particularly acknowledge the new licence to Monash Children's Hospital in Clayton, Victoria, very close and proximate to the wonderful
I thank the member.
Goldstein